What's up, everybody? Well, I got another secondary PC gameplay video for you guys today. And today, well, I'm recording this on Thanksgiving and kind of just figured, hey, somebody made a couple requests all on this one PC. So I figured, while I'm waiting for turkey and whatnot to get done being made, might as well make some videos. So here we are. I know for a fact you wanted Monster Hunter Wilds, then there was Borderlands 4, and then there was, I think, 1 or 2 others. I've still got the comment up. Now on, I'm not closing it till I do the request. That way I cannot mess up. Half the time I think, oh yeah, I'll remember, and then somehow I close the damn thing. Nope, not anymore. I put them all over where I cannot possibly do that. Right in the middle of nowhere on my giant mountain of probably like literally 94 tabs on Chrome. But in any case, in this video, we're gonna try out Monster Hunter Wilds for them. Now this one definitely does not run the greatest, so this is probably not gonna be a great showing, but we're still gonna do it anyway. And I think it had some updates, so it's probably a little better than the last time I tested it. We shall see though. Now I don't know, they didn't really specify what they wanted me to test, so I'll probably just throw out a couple different things, like some ray tracing options. I don't think it can handle native, but I might try native for a second. Things like that. I'll figure it out when I get in there. Either way, let's get to gaming. So, here's the settings we're gonna try. First, we're just gonna max it out without any upscaling or anything of the sort. Hey, it sounds like sound worked. Hopefully it works like all the time. Sometimes it'll start out and hey, you got sound in the menus, and then I get into the actual game and it's like, haha, just kidding, loser. No sound for you. But whatever, I can just add music in and it's no big deal. I'm sure people would rather have the in-game audio, but music is better than silence. And of course people can turn it into silence if they don't like the music and mute it, right? But hopefully it won't come to that. Let's get into the game. We're now going to turn on a little upscaling. Unfortunately, just spoiler alert, it does not get us a constant 60 everywhere. Some places can, but there's lots of places where it still drops under. Now, if you're someone who doesn't care about 60, it'd probably work. Though, truth be told, I would probably use the Intel upscaler if I wanted more quality and didn't care as much about frame rate. That one, FSR is much better at getting you higher frames. It just comes at the cost of not having the greatest, image quality. So why don't we now try turning ray tracing off? Because I know a lot of people just do not give two shits about ray tracing. They'd rather have the FPS. Especially people on AMD. Although I don't think this is one of those games that has anything really for NVIDIA. I think this is one just has ray tracing stuff and it doesn't really matter whether you have RT cores or not. I think it's just like software based. But I could be wrong. I'm no developer. It's just what it sure appears to be like. Anyway, why don't we now get ourselves into the game and let's see what it can do. Now for a little upscaling. Still using FSR. I should have just used Intel the whole time, but figured I'd show what the FSR looks like too. That way people can go back and forth and see if I was telling the truth or not. I think, or at least I can't even see truth or not. It's just my opinion. I think the Intel one looks a little bit better. But the FSR gets a little bit more FPS, at least from my testing. But anyway, there we go. We have just reached the bottom, so I think it's about time to game. So now I figured we would see what it's like just with the best settings I can come up with without upscaling first, then we'll turn some upscaling on. But for now, we're going to use Intel as native anti-aliasing, because I think even that looked better than AMD's. And no ray tracing either, obviously. Alright, and then we've got one more thing to take a quick gander at. I hope I didn't forget to flip on over to it, or I'm going to be pissed at myself. There we go. Phew. So there we go. There's the last page. And now we'll get back into the game. Now we're just going to turn on some upscaling with the Intel upscaler. Quality, if I remember correctly. And I don't think it dropped under 60, even while recording. Now, if you get a full group of people and whatnot, and you're all attacking a huge monster together with your most badass skills, maybe they would drop under 60 then, but I still don't think so. Like with the upscaling. Without the upscaling, I don't think it can even stay above 60, you know, just by myself. Either way, let's get into the game, shall we? Well, alright, guys, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay. All I did was turn the HDR on. Other than that, everything's exactly the same as it was when we were doing the screen recorded portion. I just wanted to, as usual, get a little screen recorded to make sure we're not going to have any funny business. Well, I know there's funny business of losing some frames, I just don't know how many. So this way, now nothing is affecting the frames. And I think I made it pretty damn smooth with my settings after sitting there for like 10-15 minutes just tinkering. Sucks we have to rely on upscaling, but this game was designed around upscaling and frame gen, so the fact that I don't have to use frame gen, awesome in my opinion. Some people don't mind it. I'm just not a big fan of it. I've never really been impressed. I mean, I can kind of, at least somewhat use it with a controller. Alright. I don't know what the heck's going on, but Thanksgiving, maybe they burnt the pie or something? I don't know. But that was definitely not fun. That definitely scared Misty and scared the shit out of me. But anyway, let's call our little guy here. But yeah, even out here seems very smooth compared to how it was with like ray tracing. I think ray tracing in this game especially seems to really add to the like frame time skips and stutters. I've noticed that in a lot of games. A lot of times ray tracing, especially on AMD, seems to not be very happy. NVIDIA's not much better, but it tends to do it a little smoother, at least when it can use its custom NVIDIA ray tracing cores. If it's just using Lumen and all that stuff, half the time it also seems to be stuttering. Now, this uses its own proprietary engine. This is RE engine, the one that's actually meant for linear Resident Evil games. Well, I guess they figured, well, let's see what it can do with a wide open world. Oh, not so good? Well, whatever. Just fix it with upscaling and frame gen. I mean, this is what, the 4th or 5th iteration of this game? You'd think they'd go, oh man, people love this game. I think it deserves its own engine so we can get the best out of the game. But I guess they don't think so. And I'm not a financial advisor or anything for that, so maybe that just costs too much money, and they were like, nope, we're going to do with what we got, and people can deal with it, that way we can make a little bit more money and stay in business versus just losing money and going up, you know? Could be as simple as that. I'm just a simple gamer. I can just say, hey, I don't like the way that thing is, but I'm not going to say it just shouldn't be at all because, you know, I don't have any solutions for it. If there's one thing that irritates me, it's when people complain a shit ton, but then have absolutely no fixing for it, you know? Like, okay, well, I mean, I could go around and complain about a bunch of stuff too, but if I can't fix it, people are going to call me out and be like, okay, well, what's your idea, man? Oh, well, I don't have one. All right, well, maybe stop complaining so much. Or spend the time you're complaining thinking of a solution. That would be my opinion, anyway. But yeah, this is a pretty damn interesting game. I wished I wasn't so socially anxious and could just go on and have fun with random people. An oasis. I'm not gonna lie, water is one of the only things that looks a little bit better with the ray trace reflections. That's about it. I don't even know if this game has ray tracing lighting or anything like that. It sure didn't look like the lighting changed much when I had ray tracing on. It kind of just looked like reflections. So I don't know for sure. The setting just says ray tracing. So I have no idea what that means. A lot of games will have like options for things. You'll have like ray trace shadows or ray trace lighting, ray trace this, that, the other thing. But yeah, even though this game isn't like the most graphically advanced game in the world, they at least tried to make it look nice with a nice art design. It just sucks that the performance when it came out, and even now, isn't the greatest. But at least if you sit there and fiddle with it, and you know are trying to do 4K on a GPU like this, then you can actually get away with some pretty damn good performance, I think. I mean, yeah, nothing's going on. We're in the middle of a desert, so we're getting like 100 and something FPS. But even when we went around more of the animals out here, we were still in the 80s and 90s, and that's more than enough for me. Again, sucks we have to rely on some form of upscaling, but like I said earlier, game's basically designed around frame gen and upscaling, since it's using an engine that's not really meant for this. Hopefully one day they will create Monster Hunter engine. Then they can just leave this engine, which seems to work great for Resident Evil games. I've never really sat there and gone, man, this thing runs like shit and stutters like shit. I hate this Resident Evil game. I mean, maybe there was one or two in there that had some little issues here and there, but for the most part, they were all great. They all look insanely good. They don't really have much stutters or any bad performance problems. It's just an all-around fun time. Now see, look at that. We're down underground now. Oh, I can't go down there? Over here. Glad I remembered that. I was like, it looks like a way out. I don't know if I can go out through here, but we're gonna try it, damn it, because I am out of ideas. Oh, it's that big old thing. And after hitting him for about what felt like 40 minutes, I beat him by myself. But that doesn't seem like a very fun way to play a game. I think the game was much more designed around a bunch of people. And I think even with a loaded game of all your, like a bunch of people playing, hitting monster, you'd still stay above 60. You wouldn't get exactly the same frames I'm getting running around here all by my lonesome. But since I have the faintest idea how to even attack a creature, I did not want to go and piss people off and be like, why the fuck isn't Vicious attacking it? What the fuck, Vicious? Fucking attack the monster, you fucking retard. That's the kind of shit I can't stand in games. That's no fun for my social anxiety. But they also have a point. If you don't know what you're doing, why are you online, like, getting in other people's way? You should be in single player doing what I'm doing, learn how to do everything first, then you can go. And no matter what, some people are going to be jerks online. It's just the way it is. If you can't deal with some jerks, don't go online at all. I can deal with a little bit here and there, or otherwise I wouldn't be able to have a YouTube channel at all, but at the same time, it's no fun when you're just trying to relax and have a good time in a game to have people making fun of you. Either way though, I think that's probably about more than good. Why don't we go ahead and wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Monster Hunter Wilds on the secondary computer. And I think after sitting there for a while, I found some settings that worked kind of well. Unfortunately, it still pretty much needs upscaling no matter what. Can't escape. Though, we didn't have to use frame gen like we would have on some weaker systems. Like, I remember this game. I had to use frame gen on my G15 Advantage, for example, because it wouldn't even give me remotely close to playable frame times. The frame times were atrocious until I turned that on. And then I knew the frames were fake, but at least it didn't seem like the frame times were all over the place anymore. I don't know if that's changed anymore. Might have. Obviously, I can go and test that if anybody's curious, but unfortunately, since I'm not very good at this game, and social anxiety, not exactly the easiest game to test, because I'm sure a lot of people would like me to go in there with a group of maxed out friends or randos and just go beat the shit out of a monster and see what kind of frames then. But I don't know what I'm doing, and I would just get in people's way, and then that would make me scared that they were gonna make fun of me, which they rightfully should, if I suck and I'm holding everybody back and not doing what I should, you know? So, still, I think I figured out some pretty good settings. Very smooth things too. Me, I'm mostly a frame time snob. That's why I hate like when people use Unreal Engine 5 and make it and don't really try hard with it. I played games with Unreal Engine 5 that actually run decently, so it is possible. Most, I feel like devs are either time constrained or lazy, one of the two, and then just go, well, we'll just click this couple of these buttons over here. Just we don't need to optimize this. We'll just let that do that. All right, cool. Oh, what the fuck? What's that? Oh, you did the shader comp and it still like stutters like no tomorrow. Ooh, well, that sucks. You know, that's not fun. Nobody wants adjust that. And then most of the time on the same thing, even on the consoles, you'll just have a subpar experience because they're like, all right, well, we've got to run this at like 640p and then upscale it to like 1440p on the regular PS5, and then maybe it'll be like 1080p or 800p or something like that on the PS5 Pro, and then upscale to like almost 4K or something like that. And it's like, dude, why couldn't you just optimize the game and then everybody would have benefited better, not just, you know, nobody. But regardless, that is about that for this particular request. Hopefully I did a good enough job considering I couldn't go and fight with a bunch of people. Other than that though, I think I still did a pretty good job, but if I didn't do a good job, I can always retry again. But that is about it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.